Hey everyone, welcome back to 10X Power Up. My name is Steve. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about our mind and how that affects what we do. It's going to be short. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to break it up here and there, see how the responses are. It's not going to be as flashy as being on the range and seeing the targets and stuff, but it's very important to what we do. Let's talk about some things I hear on the range first. I'm going to pick on one of the guys I shoot with in my state, and he's going to know who he is. I'm not going to say the name, but he's not the only one that's done this. So many people have in the past. So we took our sighting shots and we shot 10-10. I asked him how he did, then he took 2 more shots, went 10-10. He said, I knew it was downhill from there. I've heard people say, I got an X on my first shot and I knew it was over from there. My first year at Pair, I ever went, guy took his first shot and offhand, raised his rifle over his head and put it down. And he said, I'm done. One thing we need to understand is that whatever we put in our mind has a very good chance of coming true. Whatever we think about and how we think it is really going to manifest itself in reality. My last match I shot at home, I was shooting super well. I was on a 196 pace. I got on my 10th shot and offhand, and I'm like, okay, don't shoot an 8, bang. I put an 8 out to the right. All right, no problem. So I didn't listen to what I always tell myself whenever a negative thought comes in my head to put the rifle down. I tried to muscle through it. That wasn't the worst part of it. So I go through 11 through 19 and it's looking good. Bam, 20th shot, I say don't shoot another 8. So I'm on the rifle, bam, 8 at 10 o'clock. I'm like, really? So instead of shooting my potential, which was 196, I shot at 192. So we all do it, but whenever you have a thought come into your mind that you do not like, I'm suggesting that you pause. Put that rifle down, break position, breathe, look away, whatever it may be, but don't go back on that rifle until you have that picture, that X or 10 if that's what you're imagining. And it's going to work out really well for you. If you have a negative thought in your mind, let it go. Don't break that trigger. That I'm going to suggest to us all that we don't break that shot if it's anything other than a 10 or an X that we want. The second thing, and there's so many more, but we're just going to talk about these for now. I read a beautiful book. It's called With Winning in Mind. It's everything I've heard before from different people like Dr. Joseph Murphy, Earl Nightingale, Neville Goddard, but he put it in a perspective of what we do. And if you don't have the book, I suggest that you get it. He, as well as others, say if you want to achieve something, the first thing you have to do is you have to make space for it. So if you have a cluttered wall and you're going to put your trophy or your cup or whatever it is on the wall, make space for it, make room for it so it goes there, okay? Then they suggest that you write it down what it is, okay? So I wrote it down, what my year is going to look like. And I'm going to keep my goal to myself, and y'all should keep your goal to yourself, but write it down. Start with saying, I am blank at this match, to this award, on this day. All right. Post it 5 different places in your house. I have it on my computer, so every time it comes up, it's right there in front of me. And then I proceeded to say, okay, I'm going to focus on my shot process. Before I start shooting, we all know we get to the line, we got 2 minutes, then we got a 3-minute prep. So as I'm there, I stand here and I breathe. I breathe in, I hold it, and then I exhale. And I do that for 3 or 4 times before I even pick the rifle up. What that does is it settles me out. It allows me to clear my mind, get to where I want to be. Now there's 2 parts to our mind. There's our conscious mind, which is our thinking mind, okay? It analyzes everything, all right? Then there's our subconscious mind. That's the one that keeps us alive at night. Our heart beats, digestion moves, we breathe. That's the important one. So after I do that, then I just sit there and I wrote down my shot process. For me, it's I tighten up my entire body, all the way up to my shoulders, and I pull everything down, I settle out, and then I relax as I get into my position, looking down the reticle, okay? For me, if I do that, it engages my whole body instead of just picking the rifle up and just standing there. And eventually what happens is my body just relaxes and it may not be where I want it to be. So by me tightening up my body and then really getting in position how I want it to be, all right? Then when I relax, the body's already settled out. Everything is locked the way it's supposed to be, locked on everything from your hips, your legs, and your knees, and everything's locked, but there's no real muscle tension. So I have written that down, part of my statement. I focus on something, and the book tells me to focus on something. Keep your conscious mind busy. Don't let it get an 8 in there or a 9 in there, or the wind is blowing, it's gonna blow me out, anything like that. So what I've done is I focus on my breathing. So when I come down and I'm in position now, I'm thinking about my breathing as I'm looking down the reticle. Now you say, well, how can you think about your breathing, but you're looking at the reticle because you gotta break the shot? All that should be what we call instinctive or unconscious or subconscious. Do you ever come across somebody and they did something really super well and you say, how'd you do that? And some people, I've gotten answers like, I don't know, I was totally unconscious when it happened, okay? That's really what we're looking for. We want it to be so instinctual that as you're looking down that reticle, you got your position, you got your MPA, you got pressure on your trigger, okay? And bang, it's not a thought, it happens automatically. And for me, when I'm in that state, it's almost like the target and reticle become one, which is what we really want. We don't want reticle, target, it's lined up, think about it, pull trigger, okay? That's too many steps, it's too many things to think about. And I can tell you that when I'm in prone, if I blow a 9 out, I can tell you that I was conscious when I broke that shot. I wasn't it wasn't subconscious when I broke that shot. If I actually think about that trigger break, okay, there's my reticle, it's in the X or it's in the 10, bang, inevitably I'll put one a little bit out. But if I sit there and I'm looking through the reticle and I'm just focusing on my breathing, and I keep constant pressure on that trigger, it just automatically happens. And that's really what we're looking for to happen. The break of our shot to be automatic, instinctive, okay? That's what I look for, and that's what I'm suggesting to everyone else. There's a lot of documentation that supports what I'm saying. I found it really works well for me. One thing to keep in mind is that first and foremost, whatever we think about, we become, all right? So if you think that you're gonna be a distinguished rifleman, you'll become a distinguished rifleman. If you think that I have my first leg, not I'm going to, I have it, you're talking in present tense, okay? When you say I'm going to can be at any time of day, it can be any time of week, any time of year, okay? But when you say I have my distinguished rifleman's badge, or I have received my first leg, it changes how you think, it changes how your body reacts to everything. And when you write down your goal and you post it and you're reading it, at the same time you're reading it, when it comes to a match and you're at the match, I'm going to suggest you disconnect from the outcome 100%, okay? At that point, you forget about the trophy, you forget the cup, you forget about the distinguished badge, the plaque, the paper, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you forget about it. The reality of it is we could all shoot 500. Only one person is going to win. And that's going to be the person with the most X's, or the person who shot the last X at 600 yards, or whatever else the tiebreakers are, which I'm not too familiar with, okay? So you can still shoot 500 and lose, so you can't sit there and say, I'm going to shoot a certain score, and I'm going to win. Like looking back in the past at all the scores of the presidents, what the cuts were, is not doing you any good today. I'm going to suggest that you don't do that. You don't look at anyone else except yourself, okay? My father told me once that anyone can be beaten on any given day. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your skill level is. Anything can happen, okay? I have some examples in my life where things happened to me that I shouldn't have won, but I did because things happened to other people. And you don't wish those things on other people. That's why you focus on your game, but you never give up. You forget circumstances, okay? And you just keep shooting. I've heard, well, I had a crappy offhand, so I'm not going to get a leg today. And we didn't get to sitting yet, right? I know a guy that crossfired and got a leg that day. So there is nothing in stone that says if you think the shot you made was bad, it's going to prevent you from achieving anything, okay? You need to put that one in the bank, write it down, forget about it, because the only thing that exists is this shot right here, right now. The one you just shot don't matter. The one coming after this one don't matter. It's in the future. You're in this shot. And that's the shot that you want to break. And you want to break it good, okay? So you forget circumstances and you take one shot. The rest of my statement is after I break the shot, subconsciously, I do this for 80 consecutive shots. I don't sit there and say I do it for an 800. I just say I do it for 80 consecutive shots. The other thing I want to say that I used to do, And when I was in Talladega, this 600 this year was the first time I did not do it, and it worked out really well for me. I'm notorious for looking at the results during a match, immediately after the match, seeing where I stand. And for me, I made a commitment this year to not do that, because I found what happens to me is I'm like, okay, well, I'm down by X or I'm up, and I start calculating in my head what's got to happen. So this was the first time I didn't do it. So I shot the 800 the first day. It was a pretty rough day for me that day. I got some news I wasn't ready for. So I came out with like a 780, which was pretty good considering all things that went on. And I didn't look at the results. Fantastic for me. And then the next day, I pretty much shot pretty close to my average, off by 2. Again, I didn't look at the results at all until after the match. I think I did an 84 or something. And I looked at the match, and at the end of that last shot, and it worked out pretty well for me. And I did the same thing in the Congressional 30. I did not look at anything whatsoever until after I finished firing, okay? I historically would track it because, of course, with the phones now and the immediate results with the Consberg and everything, it's just quick. The commitment I made to myself is not do that anymore, because I'm distracted by the result rather than, I'm in this shot, let's take this shot and let's go forward from here, and then look at the end of the day. So Spring Classic's coming up, and it's 2,400. I will not look at any results till I fire my last shot on the third day. That's when I'll look at the results, okay? That's what I've done for me to help me. So that's a little bit about the mind. I hope everyone found it very, very helpful. Not as flashy as being on the range, but I still hope it's helpful. Like I said, Talladega is 3 weeks away. It'll probably be 2 weeks after I post this. And I hope to see you on the range. I hope you all come. I hope you shoot well and achieve your goals. Thanks for tuning in. God bless, and see you on the range.